Hello, Richardson ISD. Well, we are less than a week away from August 19th, which is a big day in our districts because it is the start of the 2020-2021 school year. Today on this Zoom call and on our weekly video, I'm joined by Tabitha Branham. She's our Deputy Superintendent, and this is also a great opportunity for me and for all of us to thank Tabitha and her entire team for the work that's been done on the blueprint, which has set us up to begin a great school year. So I'm going to ask Tabitha, we're going to just join together to answer a number of questions that we know that are out there that we hope will bring some answers and some relief to our parents and community about the start of school. So we're going to start out with a big one, Tabitha, and I'm going to ask you if you'll just tell parents and everyone, teachers, everyone, how and when they'll receive their class list and schedules to start school next Wednesday.
Thank you, Dr. Stone. I'm so excited to be here with you today and to really just celebrate the work that has been done by really every staff member of this RISD family to be ready for August 19th. And I will tell you that as we are finishing this Zoom, our principals are working to finalize their class lists. They had to rebalance those based upon the commitments that each of our amazing parents submitted for virtual or face-to-face. So they're identifying which teachers are going to be virtual, finalizing those class lists, and all of that work should be done going into this weekend and ready for Monday, August 17th.
So let's talk a little bit about technology, because as everyone knows that starting on Wednesday, although we're kicking off a great school year, it's going to be virtual for 3 weeks. So what will that look like in terms of technology and ensuring that everyone has what they need in terms of the resources for virtual school?
We want to make sure that parents right now, if you do not know your campus's plan for getting you a device, or maybe you still do not have a reliable internet access or a hotspot, you still have time to contact your campus principal and their technology contact and find out how can you schedule an appointment either at the campus or at our central technology help desk in order to have the device checked out to you and to ensure that you have a working hotspot. We have campus level teams that are here to support you, and we have a district level team that is here to support you. We also encourage that you go ahead, and if your student has not turned on their Chromebook or has not powered up their iPad, to make sure this weekend, it's a great time to do that. Make sure that their Chromebook is still working, that it's both their Chromebook and their iPad had a chance to update, and that it's downloaded all of the apps that our students are going to be using this year. And if there is an issue that we know about it this weekend, and we can turn around and get that fixed before Wednesday the 19th.
Tabitha, what else can parents do to be ready for Wednesday in terms of where should they be going, maybe even starting this weekend and Monday, or to really be ready so that they know that they're prepared as parents to support virtual learning?
Dr. Stone, I was just having this conversation with my husband because, you know, we have an incoming kindergartner and we have a 9th grader who will also be starting in virtual learning on August 19th. And he was asking me that same question. What should we be doing? And what are some things that I need to know to make sure that I'm ready to support our own children as they start on the 19th? So what we have done is on the main page of the website, we have set up a resource called Parent Corner. Parent Corner will be live on Monday, and it will be a resource where parents, you can watch how-to videos on everything from how to navigate Google Classroom, which will be the main communication hub between your teacher and you and your teacher and your student. It might be on how to navigate Seesaw, which is one of the main apps that we are going to be using in our pre-K through 2nd grade classrooms. Or maybe you want to know more, or you want to make sure that your child knows how to use Zoom and making sure that they understand all of the features that are available, including the privacy features in Zoom. All of those how-to, there's either videos or there's how-to links that will be provided in that Parent Corner, and we're going to keep updating it. So as we find out new questions from parents or they ask about how can they do something, we will keep that website updated and dynamic. And then in addition to that, our amazing strategy and engagement team, they are going to be launching our Parent University, where there will be a series in the beginning of 4 parent information evenings where we are going to be walking you through and answering live questions on how to support you in virtual learning.
So Tabitha, give parents an idea and students who may be watching and just those interested in the community. You know, I've been looking and seeing a lot of virtual classrooms. Everyone's setting up their virtual classroom and been retweeting a lot of those just to give parents an idea of what that can look like. But can you give them more of an inside feel about what will happen on Wednesday when their students enter that virtual classroom? And they'll be in that virtual classroom for 3 weeks. What will that look and feel like?
Yes, so on Wednesday, August 19th in the morning, you will have already received either from, if I'm an elementary student, you will have received from your classroom teacher an invitation to join the Google Classroom. If you're secondary, you will have the information on joining the Google Classroom from your secondary teachers. And at that time of, if I'm elementary, at 7:50 a.m. or my secondary students, their first period class, they will log on to their Google Classroom and they will be greeted in the same warm and welcoming way by their classroom teacher that they would be if they were in face-to-face. Their virtual classrooms are organized so that they will be reviewing the information just like I would do on the first day of school. We'll do team building. Who are you? Who am I as a teacher? How are we going to access our assignments and our work? And how do we turn those in? How do we getting to know one another and making sure that we are building really strong connections so that students feel confident in navigating, that first day, but then ultimately day 2 and day 3 as well. So it will be structured by the teacher in a way that's easy to follow on that day 1 for both the student and the parent. And it really will all be focused on getting to know you, building relationships, and making sure you feel confident in how to navigate your virtual classroom in these first 3 weeks.
I know that some parents are concerned about the amount of screen time that their students will be experiencing during the day. What are some things that we have, in taking that into consideration, how are we going to navigate that so that it doesn't feel that students are sitting in front of a computer like this for 6 hours solid? What have we built in for those kinds of things?
I'm so glad you asked that question. And I've had many meetings with many of our parents who expressed that same concern. And at the same time, also a concern of how do I make sure that there's enough structure so that my student is getting what they need and that they are growing academically as well as social emotionally, because I'm not a trained teacher. So we have been working with our teachers all of this week, and thanks to Dr. Stone and our instructional technology team and our professional development team, we really have been working with our teachers to understand how they think about time in a virtual setting is different than how they set up time in their face-to-face. Because we know that students can't stare in a Zoom camera, all day long. So for example, at our secondary classrooms, if they have a 90-minute period, we've given them 6 different scenarios of ways that they can chunk that 90-minute period so that students aren't facing and aren't live on a Zoom camera that whole 90 minutes. So for example, if I'm giving an assessment, how do I chunk that 90 minutes in a way that is meaningful for our kids? If I'm going to open with some direct teach and then I want to have some conversations with my kids, how do I create breakout rooms? But then maybe I want them to do some independent practice. And so we're going to remove and we're going to separate from Zoom while I'm working on independent practice. And I'm going to turn my work into my teacher through my technology resources so she or he can give me feedback. And we've approached that same thing with our elementary students with our asynchronous model. Yes, again, we still want structure, but we recognize that our 5-year-olds and their attention span to be able to be on for long periods of time doesn't work that way. So we have provided lots of different scenarios for our teachers to follow, and that they will be sharing those with their parents either at Meet the Teacher Night or on that first day of school.
So if I am a secondary student and I know that I have a schedule to flow through each day, will I have individual Zoom links that I'm supposed to, how will I know how to navigate for like the start of the day? And then how do I get to like my passing period to get to the next class? How will that work for secondary?
I love that you just asked that. So yes, so one of the reasons why during at-home learning, many parents will find that some of our teachers used all kinds of different resources. And so I might have been a secondary student, and one of my teachers used Schoology and another one may have used Google Classroom. And this year, to streamline all of that for our parents and for our students, we are using Google Classroom. So in the announcement section of the Google Classroom for each of our students' classes, that will have the information on how they are going to access that day's learning. So it might be a Zoom call, or maybe there is another activity in another software that that teacher is going to use that day, such as a Nearpod or a Socrative, and it'll have that direct information to for the students, so that they will know how in first period I'm logging in here, and in second period I'm logging in here, and here are the times, and here's my schedule, because we're following the same schedule, and here's when I need to report to that class period so I can be counted for my attendance.
And I think that that's so important for parents to understand, because we've been saying all along that there was before spring break and then there was at-home learning, but now there was at-home learning and now there's virtual RISD, and they're completely different. And Google Classroom was a big decision that we made to really streamline that and to make it so much easier for parents. And I really want them to know going into next week that this is going to be a very, very different and much more simpler experience for them to help to navigate. So lunch, will there be time for kids to eat lunch?
Yes. So two really important things that I would love to share about lunch. First of all, yes, lunch will be built into the schedule. So if I am following an asynchronous schedule, I'll have even more flexibility in when that lunch occurs. If I am following a synchronous schedule, I will have that built into the schedule that my teacher provides. And it is a little bit extended, knowing that that our students will be learning from home, and our teachers will be working with you on that. But most importantly, and one of the reasons why we wanted to make sure there was a little bit of that flexibility, is that we know many of our students are going to need to come up to school, and they're going to need to pick up their lunches. And so our meal service will continue, and really it will be, we will move from summer meal service schedule to our 2021 virtual summer meal or fall meal schedule. Sorry about that. Beginning August 19th, and on August 18th and August 20th. So every Tuesday and Thursday, parents will be able to come up to their school, or a student, if you're old enough to come up to school between the hours of 7:30 and 2:30. Anytime between 7:30 and 2:30, you will show proof that you are an RISD student. And if you qualify for free and reduced lunch, you will either pay a portion of your lunch or you will receive your free lunch. If you would like to purchase a lunch, you can also purchase a lunch. And there will either be one of our amazing child nutrition staff workers that will be outside of the kitchen area of each of our campuses, where you can pick up your lunch. And if there's not someone there, get this, y'all, we're gonna have a phone number that you can call. There will be a sign, and you can call, and if there's not someone there, you can call, and within minutes there will be someone there that will be there to deliver your meal service. So huge kudos to our child nutrition staff for ensuring that even while we're in this time of virtual learning, one of our most basic needs of ensuring that we are eating is being met.
So I know this video is long and probably longer than most of the weekly videos, but I also know that a lot of parents have a lot of questions, and hopefully just hearing this from Tabitha and from me, and the level of confidence that I have that we've been working on this for months and months to be ready for a virtual environment, to be supportive of you and families that are out there. I wanted to just take the time to just for you to hear it from us. I also just want to make sure that Tabitha, for any of our families, I know that there are members of the community that are concerned about any family members that may not have internet access. Thereby, they probably can't watch this video right now. What are we doing to take care of any families and making sure that we're reaching each and every single one of our students?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Stone. So we are working closely with our campuses and making individual connections. So if for some reason we have not connected and you've not completed an enrollment process, or if a family, and some reason we have not had any kind of communication with them over the summer, we are hand calling. I was with the SDS, our student data specialist at Aldea Creek the other day, and celebrating her. She was able to contact 99% of the Aldea Creek parents last week and ensure that every single one of them completed their commitment and they had their device, or if they needed access to internet. So that is the kind of connections and outreach that we're asking each of our campuses to do prior to August 19th.
So parents, we know that you may have some more questions, and so we want to make sure that you understand that your principals, teachers are there, counselors are there on campus. So if you have any other questions, first go to your campus resources there who are there to answer your questions. From there, make sure that you're visiting our blueprint. We have an FAQ on our website. And as always, you can always reach out to any of us. We are here to answer your questions. We are ready for August 19th, and we know that the work that has been done by our teachers to prepare for that, our teachers are front lines of the greatness that's going to be provided to each and every one of our 39,000 students this year. We are ready. We have got this. We are in this together, and 2020, 2021 is going to be a great school year. So we'll see you all next Wednesday, and just know again, from our school board to our central office, every single one of our campuses, we are all joining together with you all to say, we've got this.